future of France. What comes next after the political fallout? France just lost its third prime minister in a year. The budget's stuck in limbo, and the president can't run again. So what now? Stick around, because in the next few minutes we'll lay out the 3 roads France can actually take, and why whichever one it picks will rattle Berlin, Brussels, and Washington. The Fifth Republic has never seen anything like this. A hung parliament, 320 opposition MPs ready to torpedo any bill, and a constitution that gives the president 7 more years, but almost no leverage. Emmanuel Macron still in the Élysée, yet every week the same question echoes. Who's actually running the country? How we got here? Let's rewind 12 months. After the June 2024 EU elections, Macron dissolved the National Assembly, betting he could squeeze out a working majority. Voters handed him the opposite. 3 blocks, none near the 289 seats needed. Gabriel Attal tried first, got knocked out by a no-confidence vote. Michel Barnier lasted 90 days before a tiny pension tweak sank him. François Bayrou stepped in last autumn. Hung on 6 months, his €44 billion austerity package united far-right and hard left against him, and down he went. Meanwhile, the deficit is frozen at 5.8%, debt kisses 112% of GDP, and every week without a budget adds another billion to the hole. Bottom line, France's politics without a government, and bills without a majority. The 3 paths. So, what's left? Only 3 doors, and each one opens onto a cliff edge. Door 1. Appoint yet another PM and pray. Macron can still pick a premier under Article 8, but the math is brutal. Whoever says yes has to write a budget, and that means hiking VAT, freezing civil service pay, or trimming pensions. Any of those triggers 320 no votes within days. Upside, markets chill for a month, Brussels backs off. France keeps limping. Downside, another revolving door PM becomes Europe's punchline, and Le Pen's rally surges in the polls. Names in the rumor mill this week: ex-EU negotiator Clement Beaune, center-right veteran Xavier Bertrand, even former finance chief Bruno Le Maire. Each would show up to work wearing a parachute already on fire. Door 2, dissolve parliament again. The Constitution allows one more snap election before the 2027 presidential race. Macron could roll the dice this spring, hoping voter fatigue with chaos hands the center a fresh mandate. Polls show the opposite. National Rally at 31%, United Left around 29%, Macron's bloc trailing at 26%. Translation: a second dissolution could hand the far-right 280 seats and force Macron into an American-style cohabitation he vowed never to allow. Bond spreads would spike, the Senate, still conservative, could stall every bill, and France would hit the EU's excessive deficit procedure by summer. Yet some advisors whisper it's still better than letting the presidency rot for 2 more years. A risky gambit, but the nuclear option is officially on the table. Door 3, Macron resigns. No president has quit since de Gaulle, but the Constitution is clear. If the president walks, the Senate president steps in for 40 days while a snap presidential election is organized. In theory, this breaks the deadlock. New head of state, new mandate, new parliament. In practice, it detonates what's left of institutional stability. The far right would field Jordan Bardella instantly. The center-right would rush Edouard Philippe into the race. The left would splinter between Mélenchon and rising stars like François Ruffin. Campaign season would crash into the 2025 budget debate, meaning no fiscal reform for half a year. Investors hate vacuums. Expect the spread on French 10 years to jump past 200 basis points, the highest since 2012. Still, Macron loyalists argue resignation could salvage his legacy by turning him into a martyr for Republican unity. The phrase dignified exit has even surfaced in Le Monde. Unlikely, yes. Impossible, no, if street protests swell or if Berlin and Rome start planning for a post-Macron EU. 3 doors, 1 certainty. The status quo is toast. Why Europe cares? France is the EU's military backbone, its number 2 economy, and the loudest cheerleader for joint borrowing. If Paris stumbles, the Eurozone's fiscal rules lose enforcer number 1. Already Dutch and Finnish MPs are asking why they should keep footing the bill for Ukraine reconstruction when France can't balance its own books. Ad in 2027. If Le Pen or Bardella wins, expect a referendum on immigration powers, a cut to Brussels contributions, and a veto on the next enlargement package. In Berlin, the fear is returning, a repeat of 1981 when Mitterrand's nationalizations spooked capital across the Rhine. Only this time the Bundeswehr is short 30 billion euros of kit, and markets move at algorithmic speed. Washington's watching too. France holds the rotating G7 presidency in 2026 and a permanent UN Security Council seat. A lame duck Elysée weakens the Western Front just as Putin eyes 2025 winter offensives. Bottom line, French chaos isn't local color anymore. It's systemic risk. Section 4. Wild cards. Don't ignore the social temperature. The last pension reform drew 2 million marchers. Today the unions are poorer, but TikTok is richer. A viral clip of a pension cut could park 100,000 yellow vest types on the champs within 48 hours. Another spark, the 2025 municipal aid freeze. Small-town mayors, left and right, warn they'll block highways if subsidies shrink. Then there's the Senate, dominated by conservatives who hate new elections. They could refuse to promulgate a dissolution decree, triggering a constitutional crisis the Council of State would have to untangle. Finally, keep an eye on the bond vigilantes. If the spread hits 250, the ECB can intervene only if Paris signs a reform memorandum. Think Italy circa 2011, but with nuclear weapons. None of these wild cards is the base case, yet each is more probable than it was 6 months ago. Conclusion: France has entered uncharted territory. 3 PMs gone, no majority, and a president who can't run again. The next move must pick one of 3 roads: another fragile premier, a high-risk election, or a resignation that rewrites the republic. Which is likeliest? If markets stay calm, expect a new technocratic PM within weeks. If spreads surge or protests erupt, Macron may dissolve parliament or even quit. Whatever the choice, the 2027 presidential race begins now, and with it the future of the European project. So, what door do you think France will open, and how fast will the rest of us feel the shockwave?